I'm going to tell you a little story about the Roundhouse. You've probably heard about the Roundhouse, but chances are you don't actually know what it is or was. So we at the Ocean Shores Community Association think it's high time to give you a quick look at the history of this controversial site. Let's start with Ocean Shores. It's currently home to some 6,000 residents. The Roundhouse was an unusual and round building originally built as an office for the developers of Ocean Shores. Before that, the whole area was farmland, and the spot where the Roundhouse was built is probably one of the premium sites of the Ocean Shores township, with extraordinary views up and down the coast. After the companies creating Ocean Shores from farmland sold out all their Australian properties, a group of 3 locals bought the Roundhouse and its site back in 1980 with the view to divide the site up into residential lots. Not everything planned for Ocean Shores has actually been built, like the art gallery or sports fields, a much larger shopping centre than what it has now, a beach club, schools, a town centre, or any open public space. From 1983 to 1988, the Byron Shire Council started a series of community consultations in order to decide on the look and feel for the Byron Shire. Their planning workshops led to the extraordinary Roundhouse site being rezoned for community use. This was a shock for the 3 owners, but they let go of their plans for development. With the new community zoning, they now requested the council to acquire the land. Here's where you could say the troubles really began. Council did not want to pay the going rate for this land, even though there's a law of acquisition which states that in a situation like this, the land that has been rezoned has to be bought at the value of its best and highest use. So, in 1990, the 3 owners of the Roundhouse site took council to court, and after 2 hearings, the court ruled that the value of this land would be based on its ability to house 55 medium-density units, which was estimated at about $1.3 million. So council agreed to pay the 3 owners around $1.1 million for the land, after also paying out $2.75 million for court costs. The court ordered the council to acquire the land as community land. This created a community trust on the land, which means it could not be legally developed into residential housing. The 3 owners also had to pay $750,000 for their court costs, and in 1991 the Byron Shire Council took over the ownership of the Roundhouse site. In 1994, the council ordered and achieved the demolition of the Roundhouse building, much to the surprise and sorrow of the local residents who had begun to see the potential for this building as an art gallery with many other uses to the community. Aboriginal locals who squatted on the Roundhouse site also launched a claim in 2000. This caused council to commission an investigation to look for significance to Aboriginal heritage. Though none was supposedly found at the Roundhouse, the area around Ocean Shores was found to have significance to the Durrangbal-Minjibal community. The council ordered squatters off and the Roundhouse site was fenced in pretty much for the following 10 years. It was around this time that community groups got together and formed the Roundhouse Action Group, as the council made it known that it still intended to subdivide and sell off the Roundhouse site to raise money. When council sold off the land previously promised as sports fields in 2004, it became obvious to many that value to the community was not forefront in council's mind. In 2010, the Roundhouse Action Group met with the then General Manager of Council, who suggested they provide the council with a business plan for the community use of the Roundhouse site. The Roundhouse Action Group questioned a 12% sample of local residents to find that 97% were indeed in favour of community use for the Roundhouse site. So after an intensive 6 months of preparation, the business plan was submitted to Council in 2011. And Council responded by pretty much discarding the plan to say they were going ahead with the development of the land for residential sites. In 2013, the Ocean Shores Community Association was given legal advice that the community has moral and legal grounds to take the council to the Land and Environment Court, given the Roundhouse's community zoning under a community trust. We know there has been a legal precedent in Little Manly Beach, Sydney, where the community won a similar battle for their foreshore from their council. But we really don't want to cause council any more costs. We just want it to do what it is legally and rightfully supposed to. In 2014, Byron Shire Council enlisted the state government for support after our community opposed their attempt to auction some of the land that they've kept subdividing. New legislation called the Gateway Process could help councils sell this land off. But this legislation also requires us, the community, to be consulted. Unfortunately, the Minister for Planning is not aware of any community opposition to the proposed Roundhouse sell-off because of misinformation and lack of access, and here's where our little history comes to a close. So if you, like us, want to keep this special and vital heart of the town of Ocean Shores for the whole community to enjoy, please urgently let your councillors know that the sales have to stop. Better still, call the Minister for Planning, Rob Stokes' office.